We are back. It's been a couple weeks, but inside LAFC, the Max and Vince podcast, back with the vengeance, getting ready for the start of the season. We told you we'd be here. Vince LaRosa, Max Bretos, and our very special guest, Ryan Hollingshead, who has been kind enough to agree to appear on this show every week. So we just want to thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, our check-in with Ryan.
Should I scoot my chair over to?
You're good.
To there? Okay,
no, we wish you could, but give it maybe a few more months and maybe.
The fact that you wanted to is good enough for us.
That's endearing. We're gonna hug it out after this too.
Look, how's it? We spoke to you at Media Day, and you just got in.
Yeah.
You just got the news you were into. So what's this? In a city that you're familiar with, what's this week, 10 days been like for you?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a month and it's been 2 days all at the same time. So getting used to everything, getting used to the guys, that's the biggest thing. It's more the on the field stuff, like, you know, the life stuff and getting a house, getting moving, all that stuff will come, but it's more just learning these guys, how they play, how they work, what they want to do, especially as a defender, getting a relationship with my winger, seeing what he wants to do, how does he play, does he like the ball at his feet, does he like the ball in behind, are we covering for each other, are we up and back, all of that stuff, right? You get, especially being in one club for a long time, you get used to kind of who you're working with, and coming to a new club, you got to learn all those little differences.
Does it help knowing that there's so many guys, in fact, 7 others by our count, and obviously some guys coming up from the academy, all new to the club? Do you sense that at all?
Totally, and I think it's good because it brings in a lot of this kind of veteran presence and a lot of kind of outside influence where guys have picked up things from other teams along the way, things they like and things they don't like. The things they don't like, they leave to the side. The things they like, they come in and try to implement some of that here. And so you can see there's a really good camaraderie here. There's a really good vibe here. And the guys have really responded. The young guys have responded to that kind of veteran leadership, and the veterans have really responded to coming into a new place and making it their own and making it really like a family here. So.
Who's helped out the most? Who's been the guy that's been like, I'll show you around? Who's helping you out around
For
here?
me personally?
Yeah.
Man, it's usually, it's a lot of the veteran guys that came in the same situation that I'm in, that we're in the same hotel, we're carpooling to and from in the same rental car, that sort of stuff. So it's,
this is stuff we don't
it's
really
Max
know about that we got to get reminded of.
Right. It's Max and Daniil and Ilie who just came in. Those are the guys that are kind of like in the same boat. But man, really everybody here has been open arms, incredibly welcoming. I'm able to already be joking around with all the guys. So there's not any guy that I'm like, I gotta work on that relationship and make sure that we kind of put some time in. All the guys from day one have been amazing.
Filling out his social calendar,
no
less.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? It gets playing some
coffee
cards.
Dates, some cards on the calendar. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be interesting to come here and have a guy that's joining the coaching staff that's fresh out of playing that was a left back.
Yes.
Went to UCLA.
Yes.
So I'm sure you're very familiar with Jordan Harvey.
Yes.
How has that relationship been?
I love that guy. Yeah, we obviously playing and competing against him for so long, going to the same school. He's the type of guy that it's like you feel like you know him, even though we've only had a handful of conversations before this moment, but every time we played against each other, we're always talking after the game, and so the camaraderie is there. But then you come here into kind of his home, a place that he loves, a place that he's really invested in, and for me, I'm just excited to learn. Like, he's been around the club since day one, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Or close to it. So he knows this place, knows this club, knows this city so well, and he's a left back. So I'm like, tell me what I need to know and how to make that transition as smooth as possible.
What's the perception been like? Because playing against this team for a couple seasons, more than that actually, and being here and knowing about it, what have you learned about the club that you weren't really privy to prior?
Well, yeah, I mean, we always, especially coming from a club like Dallas and then thinking of a club like LAFC, you always think it's kind of like it's Hollywood, it's the new facilities, it's the new flashy club, it's all that stuff. And it is that. In a good way, it is that. And in a different way, it's also like, man, the people here are world class. There's not been a single guy that's turned a cold shoulder or not done everything they can to help the transition be that much easier. And so you kind of get the idea that they're going to be a little uppity or, maybe not as personable. And it's the exact opposite. The guys have been from top to bottom, right? From office staff to everybody. It's just been an amazing transition.
You talked a little bit about it in the partnerships on the field, but what's the learning curve been like? I heard at Media Day you were talking about, like, look, I'm going to get forward, I'm going to score goals. I think we're happy to have you here because you do have a tendency to score goals against LAFC, so you're going to have to find those somewhere else if you can. But what's the learning curve been like? Is it really fitting into what your vision of football should be? I feel like a lot of guys come here and are like, this is kind of what I love.
Right.
But I haven't gotten to do it.
Yeah, because LAFC from day one and still to this day, they're a team that wants to play. They want the ball. They want the ball at their feet. They're not trying to play direct. We're not afraid to play direct, but that's not goal number one. Goal number one is nice football. Ball at your feet, moving the ball well, moving the ball quickly, finding gaps, finding spaces, like attacking quickly. It's the type of football I think every footballer wants to play, right? Unless you're Usain Bolt and you can just sprint past everybody, right?
Well, Max loves Diego Simeone, so I feel like Diego Simeone is like the one guy that's like, no, we don't want to.
That's my guy.
I like the Usain Bolt drop because didn't he try to play soccer somewhere?
Yes.
He's trying to play football.
He got
somewhere.
on a lower division, or in Australia, it was a little bit.
It was Australia, that's right.
The only thing that made up for his touch is the fact that he can run 100 yards in less than 9 seconds.
Just kick it and get to it somehow.
You guys gotta have to laugh when you see that. Wait a minute, okay, you're gonna have a rude awakening. See, it's not.
It's fun to watch that because you think you can get away with a lot of the technical stuff just with athleticism, and you can't. You really just can't.
That.
So it's fun to watch them. They go in, they've got these big ideas, and then pretty quickly they're not in football anymore. So
well, you have so many guys, and obviously out here in LA, the big thing was Kobe. Kobe loved soccer and said, I probably would have played. I love the footwork. But then you get guys like, remember when Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco went out there. He was like, I could probably play. And then we watched him, we were like,
the word probably is the one you gotta.
Probably is the key word there.
Probably is maybe even is too strong for him.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think with soccer, you're like, how hard is it to just kick the ball a little bit and run and move around it? But it's obviously so much different than that. And in a sport like football, so much of what you're doing is just strength and just power. And with soccer, it's so much like deception and cheekiness and like, those are the sorts of things that you can do without a ball pretty easily, but with the ball at your feet the whole time, right? You like, it's so I don't know. I want to analyze all that they're doing, but it's shown to be harder than they thought.
I'm curious about something you mentioned with the ball and how LAFC has a nice style to them, and they really want to play that way. But one of the things that Max and I have been talking about a lot, and now seeing you're tall. LAFC has not been a tall team historically, and it's not been. Look, we had some tough guys, but all around this team looks a little bit meaner.
All due respect.
We need that. Yeah.
Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, and this league, man, this league is so physical. It's a very athletically demanding league. And so if you come in and you're the trickiest player and you can move the ball around and spin out of tight circles, it's great until the guy just comes and bodies you off the ball and knocks you down and takes it. And then also, this league is a big-time league of set pieces. So if you can't defend yourself on set pieces, which I think was a little bit of a problem last year, then you're giving away soft goals and you're always trying to play catch-up. And so, yeah, you need a good balance of that. You need some of that, brute, just kind of strength. I'm not saying that's me, but you need that on the team. You need that on the team.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the gif of you and Gio Savarese. So
right.
There's a little brute force.
That goes a long way.
It's one of the best moments of my career.
Really?
Yes. And so I love Gio too, actually. And one of my good buddies on the team in Dallas, Jimmy, played for Gio and loves Gio, talks so highly of him. But when you're competitive and in the moment you do these things. But that moment is if you're trying to describe how competitive I am in one clip, that's the clip. It
great.
Consumes you. It takes over and so I want to bring that here.
I can't wait, and I can't wait to see that manifest itself on the field because we're going to notice it right away because it's not just you; it's several guys that bring that.
Right.
We're gonna, one last question before we let you go here, and where are you in your career? You're 30, 31?
I thought you were literally going to end it with
30.
Where are you?
Where are you?
Where are you?
Where are we now? Wait, Max,
mean,
did you have a moment? Did you have a senior moment?
No, I did not. I go, where are you? I mean, at 30, this is a great time.
Yes.
You know what you know.
Yes.
You've done everything. You know that because you've been in this league for so long and have been successful for time and time again. It's not just me saying it's others doing it as well. So how do you feel at a new club knowing what you know?
Yeah, I feel honestly like I'm at my peak. I feel my body feels the best it's ever felt. The game is I'm processing the game faster than I've ever processed it. It feels just kind of like everything is slowing down in the best of ways. As the ball's coming to me, as I'm making a movement, I already know what I'm going to do with it. And And so there's something really special about that. But then coming to a new squad, you also want to bring the energy. And so I don't want to just be like too calm, too tranquilo, like too cool on the ball. I also want to bring an energy like, hey, we also have to work for this, and we have to fight to win games in this league. So hopefully I can bring a good balance of both of that. But yeah, I feel really good and really excited to be here in the prime of my career.
In the prime.
30s
are the new 20s.
That's right. That's right.
After that, it changes a little bit, but don't worry, we'll approach that. You guys are going to love this guy. Ryan Hollingshead looks great in the black and gold, and we can't wait to see you kicking it around on Saturday.
Awesome, yeah. Thanks, guys.
He has a meeting to go to,
yeah,
so we're gonna let him go. We're gonna continue the podcast.
We tried to get you out of it. But,
so mic drop?
We tried. We tried. Do you want to go to that meeting?
This here? No,
yeah. It's a good dismount, Ryan.
Well, this is the fun part about TV is.
Should we let it leave before we say anything? I can't say anything bad. The guy's
$1
million.
That's what I was going to say. He's like, we got to wait till he's out of earshot.
Yeah.
And then we can talk. No.
He's
great.
He's great in a lot of ways. You could see just the answers to questions are just not wasted. So that's when you cover a team to have something like that, it carries a lot of weight. We want to talk a little bit about the.
I do want to talk about the season, but can we just shut it down for a hot second and move? Because I feel weird sitting where we're sitting.
Should we? Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back, well positioned to continue the Max and Vince podcast, which we want to remind you to check out, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment. We read them. Okay, we did a little pivot here. I want to thank Ryan for joining us. It's a beautiful day here.
We did a literal pivot.
I always like to give the weather report in Alhambra. As you can see, we're wearing jackets, a brisk breeze coming across.
It is burning hot in the sun, and then the second a cloud goes by, it easily drops to like 55 degrees.
Which is a great training weather, right?
Yes, but we're not training.
We're not training, but the guys, man,
it should be.
Watching the training, it feels like a training a few days out of the opening game of the season, where we were here a couple weeks ago and 3 weeks pretty regularly, and it didn't feel like that. So we know where we are.
You and I have the pleasure of getting to watch training, and so we've gotten to see kind of different iterations of training, but every time we come here, we keep looking at like they'll do a lot of drills where it's like 10 on 10. And we're looking at the way the two teams are split up, and our minds are blown because we're like, okay, that's
both
like
these teams could probably
make
make the playoffs.
We sit there, we go, the guys in the bibs, that's the first team. And then we go, I don't know. So the competition this year, like you said, literally, Max, you sat out there pointing out like starter, and he's pointing out people in different color bibs. So you know they're not all going to be starters, and that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's rare in this league. In
a salary cap
league,
league.
do that in a salary cap league to have that depth. It's one of those things you have to just say, it's not going to be like this, and it may not be like this. This could be a perfect storm because of a lot of savviness by the front office and John Thorrington to be able to cover every position with two players, if not more. I would love for it to be this way. And there's still flexibility with what LAFC can do, but this is something I've covered the league a long time. You don't see where you go, okay, they're covered there, here, two guys there, three guys there.
Yeah. Well, because in a salary cap league, you almost don't want to do it, right? Because if you have money sitting on the bench, you're like, well, when are they going to get in? So that's why we've grown up with world football, and you always talk about competition for places. I mean, in Europe, they're very much like, there's never any talk of, well, is he going to get playing time? It's like, no, I mean, he's going to play if he plays. But here, you kind of have to hedge your bets some ways because you can't have money sitting on the bench.
If they talk about the CONCACAF Champions League, you need a roster. This would be a roster that'd be well equipped.
This would have been a good year.
This would have been a good year. Soon enough. I did want to talk about, and I've been feeling it, and I know Vince has been feeling it because we have meetings and the season's coming up. You don't need me to tell this to you. The last 2 years have been interrupted in every walk of life, and things have had to change. And things are still different. We know that, and you have to go through these protocols still. But it feels like it used to be in many ways when you talk about a season. We're going to Pink's, we're going to Randy's Donuts, there's player appearance, there's access.
Yeah.
There's still restrictions to go to the stadium on Saturday, but not like it was. And hopefully that remains the way, but it feels, you get a little nostalgic because it feels the rah of 2019.
Yeah, I'm going to try to not use that word normal because that's what everyone wants us to say. It feels like normal. It feels exciting. There's things to do, and there's a real. We miss all of you. We miss doing those things, and I think we've been yearning with no payoff. And I feel like we're finally starting to get to that point where we're going to get a little bit of payoff because we look at that list of events that LAFC is doing for LAFC's back week, and it's a full slate.
It's like it used to be.
Yeah.
Again, we're recording this on a Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And I'll be going to Pink's.
Max is
after
one
the fact.
shift per year at
You'll be
Pink's.
seeing it. Check out my social media. There'll be plenty of Pink's footage there.
How many hot dogs do you have?
I'm having one.
One?
I've gone from 3 to 2 to 1. And Maxie will not be joining me, my son.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
been there.
Maxie's the one that
he
that
just
really puts
came
him down.
To us. I mean, he ate a dog and he had a standing 8 count. Because he had 2. But maybe 1.5.
2 and how much time?
Too much. He did it quick. That was
Oh,
the thing.
yeah, you got to give yourself a good buffer.
There's a lot of exciting things with the club, and I mean, there's this. We talk about exciting, but just this mystery of what's it going to look like out there when the 32-52 are in full voice, and it's full, and there's an actual game, and all these new faces, and a new coach on the sideline. Soak it all in,
Yeah.
because that is going back to the beginning of this club to see where this new incarnation of it, which again, we don't know how it's going to look on field play in a real game. They have some momentum, obviously, with the game that they won, but with 6 goals on the board there in their final game at Indio. But it feels good. If there's a feeling to be optimistic, take it.
Yeah, that seems to be the trajectory that Steve Trundle has set up for this team. I know a lot of people were a little bummed with the results, but it's preseason and you're not working just for the scoreline. And I think a lot of what they were working for was defensive shape and getting behind the ball and being tough to play against. Look, one of those games was out in Indio, and we saw afterwards, the wind was kicking up so much, that was not even a game, right? There's been some penalties. I was talking to some people, they said, some of the penalties that have been called, they don't think would have been called in MLS. So they've been playing well, they've been difficult to play against, but yes, it's very encouraging that in that final game, they kind of opened up the throttle, and we're like, 6 goals, let's put it on them. But still, it's a long season, man, and I'm not trying to hedge my bets here, I just know that when you change so many starters, combined with the style of play, which LAFC is all about timing and hitting windows and being on the front foot and making the passes in the right moment, on the right foot, at the right time, at the right speed, it could take a little to catch hold. I think that this team is as strong as possibly that 2019 team, but remember that 2019 team had a whole 2018 to become that team. I don't think it's going to take this team that long, but it's going to take a little bit to catch hold.
Right, and that's fine, because as we go, I guess the next thing we want to talk about is the unknown, and Ryan Hollingshead is one of 8 new players. That's a lot. So when we break down this roster, and we talked about the competition, is what does this LAFC team look like? What is their formation going to play? How do they play to their strengths across this board? But that's something that's something that we're going to really have to soak in with this team. I'm excited for all eight players at different levels.
It's 8 guys that you feel could change the game at any point and could start.
3 that likely heading to the World Cup or featured players for their national teams here in North America. 1 that started every game for Sporting Kansas City and now want to play that similar position. The depth with Ryan Hollingshead, as well as you come in. Franco Escobar, Tajuri Shroudy, we haven't even touched on.
We start to forget about the guys that came here early, like Tajuri Shroudy and Franco Escobar. Tajuri Shroudy's still working back from a little bit of a procedure he had, but he's getting closer. I mean, Eddie Segura's getting closer. And I have to just say it because it's always fun to say it. There's still an open DP slot.
Yes, there is. There sure is. And the business of LAFC, we obviously the news with Diego Rossi, and we all saw a lot's happened since we last talked. We don't want to backtrack too much because we want to be forward thinking about it, but we all sat there for the final of the FIFA Club World Cup and saw not only Eduardo Atuesta come on, who was not a DP in play, but come on and take free kicks for a team that was maybe this close to being the best club in the world.
They pushed
officially, unofficially.
Yeah, they pushed it. That's what it is. That's what the competition is for. I'm tired of people hedging their bets on the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
got a
fun.
lot of it.
Why wouldn't we do that? Like, that's fun. So, yes, Eduardo Atuesta did that. Diego Rossi now, and you heard it here first when we kept saying over and over again. People were like, I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. We said, no, listen to what they're telling you. They're very confident that he's going to stay, and yes, he's going to stay. So now we have an open DP slot. But yeah, we're getting out. We're in the world market now. We're getting more and more into that world ecosystem where LAFC is going to be a known quantity, and that's pretty cool.
I want to talk about the MLS season because it is very exciting. One of the new players is Facundo Torres, who, like Diego Rossi and Brian Rodriguez, comes to Major League Soccer from Peñarol. And hearing the quotes from him about why he wants to be here, how excited he is here, tells you about all the work that's happened in 2 or 3 years, which feels a lot longer than that because the perceptions are changing very quickly. Mm-hmm. They have to be. Because Facundo Torres, with Alan Velasco and FC Dallas, who's my sleeper team, by the way. I got FC Dallas.
Yeah, you remember saying that, and I'm not sure I'm on that board.
And then, obviously, Thiago Almada, who goes to Atlanta United. And they have 3 elite South American stars that could play at top European clubs. But the Facundo Torres comment was very interesting because I don't think that's lip service. I think this is an apparatus where these players can say, yeah, I want to end up in these top leagues. And it's like 20 top South American players from some point of last season heading to here who have now made it here to MLS. This is something that's just going to make the league better. And then we talk about the big offseason signings, obviously Lorenzo Insigne and Sheridan Shaqiri. To me, the best offseason in MLS history, which is I don't think it's a bold statement because it's going to get better every year. And next year, I'm going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think ins and outs, it's been the best. And remember Facundo Torres?
Outs is the one where it really blew up because it was so much money. Used to be $2 million a player, 3. It's like 7 to 10 to even one with 20.
Yeah, even one with 20. Remember Facundo Torres too. This isn't just him saying like he's seen the first set of bright lights and is so surprised. He came out here with Peñarol, was part of that friendly. He got to see the LAFC training facility and the mechanisms that are around here. So he understands what MLS is. So it's to your point of saying he's not just saying his lip service. He knows what is happening here in North America, and for him to want to see that through, and I mean, he really pushed for that move. That's a big deal.
Yeah. What excites you about this upcoming season? And I would say, and I'm not wearing black and gold glasses right now, but LAFC did have the best offseason just in quantity and quality with what they were able to do. I'm excited to see if I hope to be made right as the season wears on. A lot of other teams, almost all the teams,
I think
did something.
It's teams being active and going for it. Look, we want some teams to spend a little more than they do, but now you have Dallas going for it. You have Houston trying to get Hector Herrera, who's already gotten Sebastian Ferreira. I mean, there's teams that are really going for it. Obviously, the big names that always go for it, the LAFCs, the TFCs. I think this is one of the most competitive years we've ever seen. You got Nashville moving into the West. The West is a beast. The East, still a little bit of a cakewalk in some places, but the West is tough.
Everyone's trying. There was an incentive because we always had these teams that go, we're going to do it this way, play some young kids. We're not going to go. It's the keeping up. It feels like for the first time the keeping up with the Joneses motto is being taken into practice.
I'm going to get laughed at for saying this. Don Garber said this will one day be a league of choice, but for a lot of players, it already is.
Yeah.
It's not for the Kai Havertz and Romelu Lukaku's of the world. I'm only saying that because Max and I were watching the Chelsea game before we sat down.
He scored.
But Facundo Torres is a big-time player. Thiago Almada is a big-time player. And that's about the level where MLS should be at for right now. Look, you've got to put the building blocks in place. But if that's where we're at now, yes, like you said, I think next year we're going to sit here and go, wow, this is the best offseason MLS, and then the year after that, and then we're probably going to stop saying because it's just normal.
Apparently Neymar's coming here. Did you read that? He goes, just because I get 3 months off.
Yeah, he wants the 3 months off and the chance to go to his sister's birthday, which is a big deal to him every year. He's a weird man. Did you watch
Wrong answer. Did
you watch the Netflix thing with him at all?
A little bit. I'm kind of checking out on some of these.
The Joker makeup?
Yeah, it's
not for me.
I don't know if I'm getting the storytelling that is real or that I want. So I pivot to other things, more dramatic.
Ozark?
I saw Ozark. I don't want to do any spoilers, but was it Darlene?
I don't know.
You haven't watched it?
No, I can't do
Okay,
it.
I won't do it. No spoilers.
That's not for me.
No spoilers.
I watched Gomorrah.
Excellent. And
good show. Good show at HBO Max.
000?
My people. I watched a little bit of that.
That was good. That'd be up your alleyway. Napoli's Mob?
Oh, I thought the drug connection.
No,
Jerk.
not at all. So there you have it. Nashville's coming over. You made I know there's one bold prediction. We were doing 110 Football. Check it out on our 2 new shows on the 110 Football account, including LAFC 360. And we also talked about Expansion Mansion. We were saying Tati Castellanos was this great player that's still in MLS. And was it you said, well, don't be surprised if Julian Alvarez signed for Manchester City via the City Group.
He's not going to just cool his heels all through the summer. Got to have him be somewhere.
He was the #1 South American prospect. And Almada was probably #2. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the Brazilians. There's a lot of good Brazilians. But those, at this moment in time, were the 2 big guys. And Almada did come here. And, when they all start talking about it, and it's in the news cycle in South America, it's aquí estamos in Major League Soccer, you hear that more and more. I'm pumped, man.
Being a young, big-time talent for River Plate, he wore the number 10 there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Julian Alvarez. Either a 10 or 9, either number, you take it. And he's, 20 years old? Big time. So I would love to see him here.
Any quick thoughts about the Rapids game? Obviously, Mark Anthony Kaye coming back.
Mark Anthony Kaye coming back. Kellen Acosta playing against his own side, old side. I mean, I'm just excited to see what that starting 11 is.
Yeah, that's the unknown. We don't know. We'll have a better idea, and we could take an educated guess, but I don't even want to because it's too.
Well, and keep in mind, preseason's grueling too, so we don't know. These guys are probably all getting into the shape where they're ready to go, but there might be guys with little knocks here and there. So if they don't start, it's because you're keeping them out because it's a long season.
Right. We get a good idea of that front three: Vela, Rodriguez, Chicho Arango. They've been playing most of the preseason, which is still a new dimension as well to what we're doing with this club. Obviously, the pressure is going to be on them. The midfield and the defense are stacked with a lot of candidates. Specifically, the defense, where we had 9 defenders on the roster as it stands. So watching that coming out in that 11, that's going to be special. Don't forget, it's an early kickoff on Saturday as well, so everything gets pushed early. So
the
get your
tailgate
rest.
starts at what, like 5 a.m.?
5 a.m.
Yeah, let's do it.
5 a.m.
Before
So
sunrise.
I think a lot of just go right through Friday night to Saturday, which is
Why
fine.
not? Just set up right there in Exposition Park. It's fine.
Yeah, I need my sleep, so I will.
I will sleep as well.
And we'll do this again next week.
Next week, we'll have another player.
The Performance Center, and we'll recap Colorado. We'll get you ready. I think it's Orlando after that. So the games are
No, Portland.
Portland, then Orlando.
Portland, then.
I'm thinking about the games on K.
Yeah, you're thinking of games you're calling. You don't
Yes.
get to call any games until into March. So.
Well, I just jumped the gun.
So you'll just be hanging.
disregard what I said.
Max will be hanging out with me for those first couple of games.
Correct. Check us out. Check out 110 Football. Please subscribe, rate, review. We'll be happy to take your questions anytime as well. Get you players closer to the players. As you can see, they are first class. It's a new season. Enjoy it. Soak it all in.
They knocked on the door.